Hello and welcome to Southern Cross University's Postgraduate Health Science Information webinar. It's so great to have you with us this evening as we talk a little bit about some of the fantastic postgraduate options we have in the health sciences at Southern Cross through a variety of really flexible and really accessible postgraduate options. We'll be talking this evening about the Master of Healthcare Leadership, the Master of Mental Health Nursing, and also the Master of Mental Health, all qualifications that are taught across a really unique sort of 6 intake a year accelerated course sort of structure that allows you to progress in your career whilst also working your study around the various commitments and various other things that you have going on. We come to you at a very interesting time in our world, and it really is a great time to reset and think about upskilling and how you can take your study, your career, and your goals to the next level. And that's really what you can achieve and facilitate through postgraduate study. So the best way to engage with us throughout this evening, I'm very lucky to be joined by a couple of our course specialists, Azad and Sam here tonight, who will be here to answer any specific questions you have about the course and we'll also share a bit of information about any sort of specifics around how to apply and things like that. So it's so great to have you with us, and what we'll do to get started is I'm just going to share a little bit about Southern Cross. I believe if you're familiar with Southern Cross, or if you're not, we're a proud young university, we're a flexible university, and we're a university that really cares about our students. Coming in here with 5 stars for student support, we're coming in as a top 150 young university in the world rankings, and our teaching is backed by really world-class research, which is something that is really good when you're thinking about the study that you're doing, the learning you're doing, backed by academics and research that is really world-class. We have campus locations across Australia. I'm joining from the Gold Coast campus today, but we also have campuses in many major metropolitan regions, as well as our online campus, which allows you to study from wherever you happen to be. So a lot of options there. And the courses that we teach, the work that we're doing, is really shows in the stats and a lot of the ways that universities measure their performance. We're coming in with a 92% employment rate for postgraduates. We're coming in with a well above the national average for postgraduate starting salary at $96,000 a year. We have 60 postgraduate options, and the way in which we're doing our postgraduate study is very supported. From this point here, when you're thinking about courses, you're thinking about what course you'll need to move to that next step, through to when you are within your study and you have access to that one-on-one support for you to have a really solid platform to make the most of this experience and to maximize the value that you're getting out of your education, your experience in education. And that flexibility and that support is extended to our online students. You're getting that support from day one, and it's there for you throughout your study. Whether it be academic skills support, whether it be support with your career through our career development service, there is a lot available to you to really set you up to make the most of the experience that you have whilst you're studying with us. And I'll take this moment here to briefly mention our Postgraduate Association, which is a service that is available to postgrads. It's a networking organization, and it gives you access to a wide variety of workshops and other resources as well. They're available from the moment you become a student, and it's a great way to kind of network with fellow postgraduate students at Southern Cross. At this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hand over to Sam, one of our course specialists, who's going to share a little bit more about the 3 postgraduate masters in the health sciences, and from there we can answer any questions from that. So I'll hand over to you now, Sam.
Thanks, Reese. So hello, Samantha here. I'm one of the course specialists for mental health and healthcare leadership at the university. So I might just start off by talking about...
I'm not sure whether your microphone or your video is working.
Hang on,
At the moment.
I'll just see if
I'm
I can
having
get...
a little bit of a technical difficulty here. Just bear with us for a few moments.
Sorry, are you able to hear me? Or... Are you able to hear anything? Okay, I think I've got my video and mic working now.
Hi Sam, we
Yes.
still can't hear you, but we can see you now.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We still
No
can't
one
hear
can
you.
hear
Not
me.
sure what we
Oh
have.
dear.
What's going on?
Can you hear me now? Can or cannot hear me at this point in time, but hopefully, Liz, if you're listening, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but hopefully you can. So I'm just going to start with our Masters of Healthcare Leadership. So our Master of Healthcare Leadership, it's a 12-unit master's program that students can complete over the course of 2 years on a part-time basis. And it also contains our nested program that we offer, which is the Graduate Certificate of Healthcare Leadership. And that can also be completed over the course of 8 months on a part-time basis. So the program itself is a course designed for healthcare professionals who are wanting to progress their careers into more of a leadership setting. So if you're someone who's working in healthcare and you're wanting to sort of take that next step in your career and move more into the management space, and this is the program for you. So if you, I guess, think of it like you can liken it to an MBA, but more specifically tailored to people who've studied and are now working in a healthcare setting, as all the units are tailored to management and leadership within healthcare. So you study units covering things like strategic leadership in healthcare and change management and leadership in health, but it does also give you the opportunity to add a bit more of a business flavour to your degree, as there is an elective option within our masters where you're required to pick an elective in which we do offer a really good selection of business-based subjects to choose from that are also found within our MBA. So if management's something that's that you're really, I guess, strongly focused on, then you'll also get the opportunity to undertake a business unit, which is quite an advantage if you're applying, for particular roles in health that do require you to have knowledge, not just in management, but also in business management as well. So as an example, some of the students currently enrolled into our course at the moment, they're people like registered nurses, midwives, occupational therapists, social workers, essentially a lot of students who have mainly had a clinical background to date for their career, but are now sort of needing an appropriate qualification at postgraduate level, which is what's usually required anyway when you sort of want to take that next step and start applying for management roles. With this course, you don't have to have had current management experience per se to be able to undertake it, but we do ask that you've had at least 12 months experience in a relevant field to health or the health sciences. And in regards to the program, there is the option to early exit from the masters. So the masters is 12 units, as I said before, done over 2 years. If you're not quite ready, or you'd sort of like to take a break but are still wanting to come out of it with something, you can exit early after the completion of 4 units, and you'd receive a graduate certificate of healthcare leadership, which is really great, because at least you can take your break, but you're still able to show colleagues and prospective employers that you're looking to go for any potential jobs with, that you have studied at a postgraduate level. Our students in this program, they're doing 1 unit at a time over a 7-week session. So it's 1 unit every 7 weeks. There's 6 teaching sessions across our academic calendar. So the potential is there for you to be able to do a full-time study load, but most certainly you're not required to. Technically, you can take up to 5 years to finish a master's program. Most students don't want to take that long, but that, I guess, maximum time frame is there in case, if something came up and you wanted to take a little break away, but not so much, an extended deferral, then you could take off a study period and rejoin us in the next one. So you've got that flexibility there that allows you to do that. One thing to keep in mind, I think, with this course, if you are thinking of undertaking online study, is that it's good to keep in mind to set aside 15 to 20 hours a week. That's generally what we would recommend. There's no exams in the program, but you'll be working on assessments as you progress through each unit. So just bear that in mind if you're thinking of looking at this program here. Admission criteria into this course, if you're looking at the masters specifically, you do need to have a completed bachelor's degree, and it does need to be in health or psychology, or things like social sciences with a health theme. So it can't be like a bachelor's degree in business, for example. You'd need to have finished a bachelor's degree in a health setting, and you also would then need to provide evidence that you have had 12 months of work experience in health. If you're not able to provide that evidence, then you can actually apply directly for the graduate certificate of healthcare leadership, which is then going to allow you to just use your bachelor's degree for admission, but the work experience evidence will not be required. And upon completion of that, you can articulate into the masters. So our next available intake dates that we've got coming up for this one is July. So it starts teaching on the 6th, which is study period 4. But after that, we've got an additional 2, which will be study period 5 and study period 6, and they start teaching respectively on August 31st and November 2nd. So if you're interested in applying, you can go to our website and jump on, but we generally would encourage you to give us a call first before putting through your application, so you can have a chat with one of us, because everyone's circumstances are different and individual, so it's a good idea to get a gauge on whether or not this program is going to be suited to your needs. If we can maybe move on to the next slide, thank you. So this one here, our Masters of Mental Health Nursing. So this program, as you can probably gauge from the title, is specifically for registered Division 1 nurses. So you will need to have completed a bachelor's degree in nursing. and you will need to be registered with AHPRA as a Division 1 nurse. If you have a degree that's been completed overseas in nursing, as long as you've been able to complete your transition courses here and been able to get your Division 1 registration, then if you're wondering, yes, we can accept those qualifications as well. This program here is designed for nurses wanting to move into the mental health space. So you might be considering maybe going into more of a nurse consulting type of role, or working in acute mental health, or just being a mental health nurse within an emergency ward, for example, is some of the students that who are doing this course currently. That's sort of what they're looking to move into. Or you could be working in aged care, which is quite common. We have a lot of RNs who work in aged care and are wanting to sort of show prospective employers that they're upskilling themselves at a postgraduate level to try and, you know, gain some employment in public and private hospital settings. So the advantage with this program that you're going to have here is that it is accredited and has been designed in consultation with the Australian College of Mental Health Nurses. So they're sort of similar to AHPRA, but they're, I guess, the governing body for mental health in Australia. So you can use this qualification upon completion to be able to go through the credentialing process with the college to become a credentialed mental health nurse, which is a pretty big advantage to have, and to have on the CV as well. So like with our healthcare leadership program, this course is also done over a 7-week study period, 1 unit at a time. But we also allow students to exit early with either a graduate certificate of mental health nursing, which is 4 units, or a graduate diploma in mental health nursing, which is 8 units. So if you didn't want to study for 2 years to get your master's, you can sort of do it in stages if that's more preferable to you. So you could do the graduate certificate in 8 months and then move on and complete your graduate diploma in a further 16 months of study. So I guess if you're going to do the grad cert, those 4 units will credit into the graduate diploma. So you'd sort of do it in stages of 8 months, which can be a little better for people who want to sort of take things slowly initially. With this program here, as long as you can provide us your documentation for your nursing degree completion and a current and valid AHPRA registration, then that's essentially all that you will need in terms of documentation to apply. We might just move on to the next slide. So this is our Masters of Mental Health, and it's essentially the same content in terms of the units that are offered to what our Masters of Mental Health Nursing is. Obviously, the only difference with this one is that we have opened it up to other healthcare professionals who have studied in a health background, but not specific to nursing. So say, for example, someone who might be an occupational therapist, they've done a Bachelor of Occupational Therapy, and now they want to sort of come and undertake studies in mental health. So someone who comes from that type of background can enter into this particular program. It's still the same content that you're going to be studying in terms of the units offered. So you're still getting that really up-to-date and relevant information there that registered nurses do when they undertake this study as well. Obviously, you won't have the title of mental health nursing on your certificate when you complete. It'd just be a master's in mental health. And as I was saying before, it's for healthcare professionals that work in primarily clinical roles or patient-facing roles, wanting to upskill yourselves in aspects of mental health. I'm sure you would probably know there's a growing need in the Australian healthcare system at the moment for skilled professionals in this area, especially who understand the complexities of mental health and can offer well-informed mental health clinical interventions. So it's a perfect type of course to undertake, and you do cover a really sort of wide, broad range of topics. So things like acute mental health and contemporary mental health, and a really interesting unit called physical healthcare and mental health, where you delve into the role that physical health has on improving mental health outcomes. So it's really good content to be learning. And you know, in terms of the cohort that are currently enrolled, it's not just your registered nurses, it's midwives, it's occupational therapists, social workers, counsellors. So a very sort of wide and diverse range of students who come on board to do this program, to have as an add-on to their professional portfolio, because it's important to be able to demonstrate that you are keeping up to date and have relevant training in this area. And like with the Masters of Mental Health Nursing, we also do allow students the early exit options in this course too. So you can also exit early with a grad dip in mental health, or even a graduate certificate in mental health. So you've still got that flexibility there if you require it. If we can flick on to the next slide. So if you are interested in applying, you can go to our website. You can put through an online application, but it's generally advised if you give us a call first, so we can just go through your individual circumstances and answer any, I guess, more course specific questions that you might have, and to just talk you through the online learning and how it works and unit availabilities and stuff like that. So feel free to get in touch with us if you want to have a more in-depth chat. And that's all from me.
Thank you, Sam, for sharing a little bit about those three, you know, very interesting sort of diverse programs that healthcare professionals and people in similar industries can use to kind of start upskilling and start focusing their careers towards different areas. And apologies for my technical difficulty before, but I'm hearing everyone now, and yeah, it goes to show you never know what will happen with the technology. But really, what the session tonight is all about is you know, having those questions answered that you would like to find out a little bit more about. And before we open up into a really, you know, a general Q&A that you can have any of those questions answered. You know, in summary, you know, what I'd like to say is, you know, we really would like to, you know, have you as a part of the Southern Cross community. You know, our flexible online degrees with multiple intakes a year, you know, are designed to fit around your lifestyle, your career, the things that you have going on, while still, you know, taking those steps towards progressing your career, or, you know, expanding your career into a different area. These degrees are flexible and designed with outcomes in mind that are going to take things to the next level for you. So, you know, really, you know, if you want a university experience that is going to be flexible, and it's going to support you, you know, from this point now of finding the right course and choosing the right subjects right the way through your educational experience, you know, it would be fantastic to have you as a part of the Southern Cross student community, and have you engaging with us online. For anyone watching this recording, if anyone's watching this back, please do keep in touch with us, reach out to us. We are here to help you. You know, people like Izad and Samantha, our course specialists, myself and the Future Students team, we're here to help you and to find the right course and the right pathway for you.